In the year 2000, a man walked into Blockbuster's headquarters in Dallas, Texas. He had a proposition, a partnership, a lifeline, though nobody in that room knew it yet. He had built a small DVD by mail company that was losing money and struggling to survive. He wanted Blockbuster to buy it, absorb it, put their name on it. He was asking for $50 million. The Blockbuster executives listened. Then they laughed him out of the room. The man was Reed Hastings. The company he was trying to sell was Netflix. Today, Netflix is worth over $280 billion. It has over 260 million subscribers in 190 countries. It has won Academy Awards. It has changed how the entire world consumes storytelling. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Of the thousands of stores that once lined every major street in America, exactly one remains open today. A single location in Bend, Oregon, that now operates mostly as a tourist attraction. But here's what makes this story more than just a tale of one company winning and another losing. Blockbuster didn't just miss Netflix. They had multiple chances to survive, multiple moments where the exit was right in front of them, and they walked past it every single time. This is the story of how the most dominant video rental company in history managed to lose everything, and why the most dangerous thing in business isn't a ruthless competitor.
To understand how far Blockbuster fell, you first have to understand how powerful they were. At their peak in the late 1990s, Blockbuster was a genuine cultural institution. There were over 9,000 stores worldwide. They employed nearly 60,000 people. On a Friday night, pulling into a Blockbuster parking lot was a ritual. The specific smell of the store, the walls of VHS cases, the arguments over what to watch, the quiet devastation of finding your movie already rented out. They were generating over $6 billion in revenue annually. They were so dominant in their market that competitors simply couldn't get traction. When Blockbuster entered a new city, local video rental shops closed. It wasn't a fight, it was an inevitability. And buried inside that revenue was a number that tells you everything about how the business actually worked: late fees. At their peak, Blockbuster was collecting approximately $800 million per year in late fees alone, nearly $1 billion every year from customers who forgot to return their tapes on time. It was reliable, it was enormous, and it was, as it turned out, the thing that would eventually crack the foundation. Because customers hated it, deeply, personally, specifically hated it. The late fee wasn't just an inconvenience, it felt punitive, like being penalized for enjoying the product. Every late fee receipt was a small erosion of goodwill, a quiet reason to wish something better existed. Reed Hastings understood this. He knew it because he had lived it. The legend, possibly apocryphal but instructive regardless, is that he was inspired to start Netflix after returning a copy of Apollo 13 late and paying a $40 fee. Whether or not it happened exactly that way, the insight was real. People hated late fees, and whoever eliminated them would have something Blockbuster couldn't easily match.
So, back to the year 2000, Reed Hastings and his co-founder, Mark Randolph, fly to Dallas. Netflix at this point is genuinely struggling. The dot-com bubble is bursting, money is tight. The DVD by mail model is novel, but not yet proven at scale. Hastings is pragmatic enough to know that a partnership with Blockbuster, their brand, their stores, their customer base, could solve everything. His pitch is straightforward. Let Netflix run Blockbuster's online operation. Let them handle the digital and mail order side. Blockbuster keeps the stores, the brand, the physical infrastructure. The executive's response, by multiple accounts, is dismissive. Some reports describe outright laughter. The offer is declined without serious consideration. It's easy in hindsight to call this catastrophically stupid, but stand inside that Dallas boardroom for a moment. Blockbuster is making $6 billion a year. Netflix is a money-losing startup with a few 100,000 subscribers. The DVD by mail model requires waiting days for a movie, in a world where Blockbuster can give it to you tonight on the way home from dinner. The executives weren't irrational, they were comfortable. And comfort at that level has a way of making the future feel very far away.
Here's the part of the story most people don't know. Blockbuster wasn't entirely blind to the threat. In 2004, the company hired a new CEO named John Antioco, and he saw, with unusual clarity for a man inside that organization, exactly what was coming. Antioco launches a counterattack. He creates Blockbuster Online, a direct response to Netflix's mail subscription model. He does something even more radical. He eliminates late fees entirely, absorbing the loss of that $800 million revenue stream because he understands that the fees are driving customers away. It works. Blockbuster Online grows fast. The no late fees policy generates enormous goodwill. For a brief window, Blockbuster is genuinely competitive. Netflix's growth slows. Reed Hastings later admitted publicly that during this period, he was genuinely concerned that Blockbuster might beat them. And then the board fires Antioco. The investors, led by activist shareholder Carl Icahn, are furious about the short-term losses. Eliminating $800 million in late fee revenue hurts the quarterly numbers even if the long-term strategy is sound. Icahn pushes Antioco out and installs a new CEO named Jim Keyes. Keyes makes a decision that, in retrospect, reads like the final chapter being written in real time. He rolls back Blockbuster Online. He refocuses on the physical stores. He tells the press in 2008 that he sees no particular threat from Netflix or the internet. "I don't see a business model that actually works in that space," he says. 2 years later, Blockbuster files for bankruptcy. It's tempting to reduce this story to bad decisions by bad executives, but that's too simple, and it lets the rest of us off the hook too easily. What destroyed Blockbuster wasn't stupidity, it was a trap that catches nearly every dominant company eventually. The trap works like this. You build a system that generates enormous profit. The system has flaws, late fees that customers resent, inconveniences they tolerate because they have no alternative. But the profit is so reliable, so large, so central to how the whole machine works that fixing the flaw feels impossible. Fixing it means destroying the very revenue stream that makes the company valuable. So you don't fix it, you protect it. And while you're protecting it, someone else is building the alternative that the customers always wanted. Netflix didn't just offer movies by mail, they offered movies without late fees, without driving anywhere, without the shelf being empty. They offered the experience customers always wanted from Blockbuster, minus every part of it they hated. Reed Hastings didn't beat Blockbuster by being smarter, he beat them by being unencumbered. He had no late fee revenue to protect, he had no 9,000 stores to justify. He could build the thing customers actually wanted because he had nothing to lose by doing it. Blockbuster had everything to lose, and that, in the end, was the problem.
There is a Blockbuster store in Bend, Oregon. It has survived everything: the bankruptcy, the store closures, the sale of the brand, the slow unwinding of an entire industry. It sells merchandise now, alongside rentals. People drive hours to visit it. They take photographs outside, they buy t-shirts. It is, in a strange way, beloved, not because of what Blockbuster was, but because of what it reminds people of. The Friday night ritual, the walk through the aisles, the specific, irreplaceable feeling of an era that is completely and permanently gone. The store's general manager, Sandy Harding, has been there for decades. She keeps it running with the quiet stubbornness of someone who simply refuses to let the last one close. In 2020, the store was converted into an Airbnb for a single promotional night. People entered a lottery to sleep inside a Blockbuster. Tens of thousands applied. For a company that died because it couldn't imagine a world beyond its own walls, that detail feels almost poetic.
Every business that has ever dominated its market has, at some point, faced a version of the choice Blockbuster faced.
Change the thing that's making you money right now and survive, or protect it and eventually lose everything. The tragedy of Blockbuster isn't that they were evil or careless or uniquely foolish. The tragedy is that they were completely, understandably, fatally human. They protected what they had. They trusted the present over the future. They looked at a money-losing startup asking for $50 million and saw a punchline. And that startup grew up. The only store left is in Bend, Oregon, and Netflix, the company they laughed out of a conference room, recently spent more money on a single season of television than Blockbuster's entire purchase price would have been. $50 million. That's what it cost. That's all it would have taken.
Blockbuster had every advantage: the brand, the stores, the customers, the cash. And they still lost. If you want more stories about the moments where everything changed and the people who missed them, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, which company today do you think is making the same mistake Blockbuster made?